He sat alone in the witness box for 7 hours. No royal protection officers stood nearby. No family members watched from the gallery. Prince Harry faced Associated Newspapers limited with nothing but his written statement and years of buried anger. What the lawyers did not expect was how quickly that anger would turn to something else entirely: tears. The case centers on articles published between 2001 and 2013. 33 pieces in total. Each one, Harry claims, obtained through illegal surveillance, phone hacking, private investigators, listening devices planted in vehicles. The publisher calls these accusations absurd. They say royal correspondents did their jobs. Sources spoke willingly. Friends leaked information. Harry says that is impossible. My social circles were not leaky, he told the court. He repeated the phrase 4 times during cross-examination. Defense barrister Anthony White pressed him on specific articles. Who could have known about a private dinner? A late-night argument? A conversation in a parked car? Harry's answer never changed. It could only have come from illegal methods. The defense had another weapon ready. Why wait until 2022 to file the lawsuit? English law typically requires privacy claims within 6 years. Some of these articles are 2 decades old. White suggested the delay proves Harry believed the reporting was legitimate at the time. Only now, desperate to paint the press as villains, does he claim wrongdoing? Harry's response was immediate and forceful. This is because of the institution I was in. He explained that royal protocol forbade him from complaining publicly. The palace operates under a never complain, never explain doctrine. Speaking out meant doubling down on negative coverage. Silence was the only option, until it was not. But there is a problem with that explanation. Harry left the royal family in 2020. He moved to California. He gave interviews. He published a memoir. He sued other newspapers successfully. Yet he waited until 2022 to bring this case. Why the delay, even after escaping royal constraints? The defense has not publicly answered that question yet, but court observers note the timing coincides with Harry's broader campaign against British tabloids. This is not just about privacy, it is about revenge. Don't go anywhere. What we're about to reveal will leave you speechless. Anthony White began the cross-examination with clinical precision. He displayed articles on courtroom screens. One described Harry at a nightclub in 2004. Another detailed a skiing trip in 2006. A third mentioned tension with Prince William in 2009. White asked the same question repeatedly in different forms. Could these stories have come from someone you trusted? Harry rejected every suggestion. I did not have friendly relationships with royal reporters, he stated. White countered with evidence. Email exchanges between palace staff and journalists. Phone records showing calls from Harry's former friends to newsrooms. Flight manifests proving reporters traveled on the same routes as the prince. Harry's frustration grew visible. His voice rose slightly. His answers became sharper. He accused journalists of hiding behind vague phrases like unidentified source to disguise illegal activity. When White suggested a friend might have spoken to the Mail on Sunday about Harry's relationship struggles, the prince nearly interrupted him. That is exactly the kind of assumption that protects wrongdoing, Harry said. Justice Matthew Nicholin intervened at that moment. You don't have to bear the burden of arguing the case today, the judge told him. The courtroom went quiet. Harry paused. He looked down at his notes. Then he continued answering questions as if nothing had happened. But something had shifted. The defense moved to Harry's relationship with Meghan Markle. Articles from 2017 and 2018 described private moments, conversations about marriage, concerns about media attention, worries about racist undertones in coverage. White asked if Meghan herself might have spoken to journalists, or her friends, or her family members who later gave paid interviews. Harry's answer was definitive. The harassment Meghan faced came from the same illegal methods used against me for years. He described persistent surveillance, photographers outside their home at all hours, drones hovering over their property, private letters stolen and published. He said it made her life an absolute misery. Then the defense played its strongest card. White pointed out that some articles contained information only Harry would know. Details about his thoughts, his fears, his private opinions about royal life. If no one close to him leaked the information, and illegal methods were not used, how did journalists know? Harry had no clear answer. He speculated about hacked voicemails, bugged phones, bribed staff members, but he could not provide evidence for specific articles. The defense noted this repeatedly. Speculation is not proof. Belief is not evidence. Feelings of paranoia do not prove unlawful activity occurred. The tension in the courtroom became unbearable. Harry's barrister David Sherborne requested a brief recess. The judge granted it. When proceedings resumed, Sherborne asked Harry a carefully prepared question. How did he feel about Associated Newspaper's decision to fight the case rather than settle or apologize? That is when everything fell apart. Stay tuned, because the next chapter changes everything you thought you knew. Harry's voice cracked before he finished the first sentence. I have never believed that my life is open season to be commercialized by these people. He spoke slowly. Each word seemed to require effort. He mentioned his mother. Princess Diana died fleeing paparazzi in Paris. He was 12 years old. The same tactics killed her, he said, and they have been used against me ever since. The courtroom remained silent. Harry continued. He described growing up under constant surveillance, photographers outside his school, journalists bribing classmates for information, stories about his teenage struggles with grief published without consent. He said it left him paranoid beyond belief. He could not trust friends. He could not confide in staff. He felt isolated within his own family. Then he spoke about Meghan again. What they did to her was worse, he said quietly. His voice faltered. He paused. He looked down at the witness stand. When he looked up again, his eyes were wet. She endured racist abuse, lies, character assassination, and I could not protect her because of the institution I was part of. He stopped speaking. The judge waited. Sherborne asked if he needed a moment. Harry shook his head, but when he tried to continue, no words came out. He pressed his lips together. His jaw tightened. He blinked several times rapidly. Then he stepped down from the witness box. He walked slowly toward the courtroom exit. His legal team stood but did not follow. Journalists in the gallery began typing frantically. The judge adjourned proceedings until the following morning. Harry left without looking back. Legal analysts immediately questioned what happened. Did Harry's emotional collapse help or hurt his case? Sympathy might sway public opinion, but courts require evidence, not emotion. Associated Newspapers will argue that his breakdown proves the case is personal, not legal, a vendetta disguised as a privacy claim. The palace has said nothing. King Charles III has not commented. Prince William has not released a statement. The institution Harry accused of silencing him continues to stay silent. Royal experts suggest this is deliberate. The monarchy cannot be seen supporting a lawsuit that criticizes the very media it relies on for positive coverage. Harry is alone in this fight. But he has always known that. This case is part of his broader mission to reform British tabloids. He has said publicly he believes the media operates above the law, that journalists use illegal methods routinely, that publishers protect wrongdoers to preserve profits. Associated Newspapers denies everything. They will call witnesses. They will name sources. They will present evidence that the articles in question came from legitimate reporting. If they succeed, Harry faces not just legal defeat but public humiliation. His claims will be dismissed as paranoid delusions. His credibility will be destroyed. The trial resumes. Tomorrow morning, Harry is expected to face further cross-examination. The defense has hours of questions remaining. They will press him on inconsistencies. They will challenge his timeline. They will argue that his complaints are convenient narratives constructed years after the fact, and the world will be watching. So let me leave you with this. Do you think Harry's emotional testimony proves the media went too far? Or does it reveal a man unable to accept that people close to him might have spoken to journalists? Let me know your thoughts. And if you follow royal news closely, smash that subscribe button and ring the bell for more explosive revelations.